You gotta get this book, Steal Like an Artist by Austin Kleon. It's for anyone who's trying to inject creativity in their life and their work, which should be all of us. Whoever you are, whatever you make, it's for you. What's the big idea? Art is theft. You gotta steal like an artist. The best artists are actually the best thieves. Every artist gets asked the question, where do you get your ideas? The honest artist answers, I steal them. Pablo Picasso said, art is theft. T.S. Eliot said, immature poets imitate, mature poets steal. David Bowie said, the only art I'll ever study is stuff that I can steal from. There is nothing new under the sun. Nothing is original. When people call something original, 9 out of 10 times, they just don't know the references. They just don't know the original source involved. The French writer André Gide said, everything that needs to be said has already been said. But since no one was listening, everything must be said again. How does an artist look at the world? First, he figures out what's worth stealing, then he moves on to the next thing. Nobody is born with a style or a voice. We don't come out of the womb knowing who we are. In the beginning, we learn by pretending to be our heroes. We learn by copying. Yohei Yamamoto said, start copying what you love. Copy, 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 copy. At the end of the copy, you will find yourself. Copying is reverse engineering. It's like a mechanic taking apart a car to see how it works. Even the Beatles started as a cover band. Don't forget that. First, you have to figure out who to copy. Second, you have to figure out what to copy. Who to copy is easy. You copy your heroes, the people you love, the people you're inspired by, the people you want to be. You start by rewriting, redrawing, re-singing your hero's catalog. And you don't just steal from one of your heroes. You steal from all of them. If you copy from one author, it's plagiarism. But if you copy from many, it's research. If you have one person you're influenced by, everyone will say you're the next, whoever. But if you rip off 100 people, everyone will say you're a genius. What to copy is a little trickier. Don't just steal the style. Steal the thinking behind the style. You don't want to look like your heroes. You want to see like your heroes. The reason you copy your heroes and their style is so that you might somehow get a glimpse into their minds. That's what you really want, to internalize their way of looking at the world. If you just mimic the surface of somebody's work without understanding where they're coming from, your work will never be anything more than a knockoff. Think about that. Kobe Bryant said, there isn't a move that's a new move. He admitted that all his moves were stolen from watching tapes of his heroes. Initially, when Bryant stole a lot of those moves, he realized he couldn't completely pull them off because he didn't have the same body type as the guys he was thieving from. He had to adapt the moves to make them his own. The comedian Conan O'Brien talks about how comedians try to emulate their heroes, fall short, and end up doing their own thing. Johnny Carson tried to be Jack Benny, but ended up Johnny Carson. David Letterman tried to copy Johnny Carson, but ended up David Letterman. And Conan O'Brien, he tried to be David Letterman, but ended up Conan O'Brien. In Brian's own words, he said, it's our failure to become our perceived ideal that ultimately defines us and makes us unique. In the end, merely imitating your heroes is not flattering them. Transforming their work into something of your own is how you flatter them. Adding something to the world that only you can add. And that's not easy. You know, there was one story that made a profound impression on us. When the movie Jurassic Park came out on the author's 10th birthday, he loved it. The minute he left the theater, he was dying for a sequel. So he sat down the next day at an old PC and typed one out. A few years later, Jurassic Park 2 finally came out, and it sucked. The sequel always sucks compared to the sequel in your heads. Isn't that true? Bradford Cox, the lead singer of Deer Hunter, said that when he was a kid, he didn't have the internet. He had to wait until the official release day to hear his favorite band's new album. He had a game he would play. He would sit down and record a fake version of what he wanted the new album to sound like. When the album finally came out, he'd compare the songs he'd written with the songs of the real album. Amazingly, many of the songs that he wrote eventually became Deer Hunter songs. Are you a director stuck being a critic, angry at that new movie? Go make that shit yourself. Go now.